1, 2, mic checker, mic checker. It's podcast day, and it's my favorite episode.
Wow. I was trying to think of what to say, and this heifer just says, "You take it too long. Let me just get to the point. Finish it. Do my line. I'll do you.
No, I don't have all that time.
Do my line.
No.
Say my line, and I'm you.
Hello, world.
Hello, hello, hello.
That is not how I sound. That is not how I sound.
That is how you sound.
It is not.
Finish the introduction. You're me.
No, I don't know.
Finish it.
No, I don't know what all you say.
You then introduce who we are. You say what episode it is. Go.
I'm Ms.Glam, obviously, because you just said.
Mm-hmm.
You're Mohazel.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Show starts. Season 4. You need to do it. What if we have new listeners? They're not going to know.
Then talk to them.
Let's go.
You got this. What happens if I croak tomorrow?
I guess the fans will be very sad because...
And then we'll know who's the favorite because they're going to do me like Selena and have the visuals.
Selena. She's Selena now, tech support?
I mean, I'm a caramel Selena.
You think she's at that level, Selena? Tech support is pleading the fifth. Welcome to Badass Besties. Let's go to the topic.
Welcome back. Hopefully you're all caught up and ready to get into a brand new season. And the reason why Ms.Glam is excited is because today is all about books. And I don't know if you caught the end of season 3, but it was all about music, which is me. So we decided to start the season with something great about Ms.Glam. And she is a bookworm, lover of all kind of books. How many books have you read?
Since I've started counting April of 2010, 886.
So, are you ready to do Weekly Delight?
I am.
All
I'm ready to
right.
get to the topic, though. Come on, let's speed this up.
Calm down, one step at a time. All right. Weekly Delight. It's where we take a person, place, a thing, inspirational quote. It can be food. It can be a bunch of books. It can be music. That's right. Whatever is making us happy and getting us through the week. So with that being said, Ms.Glam, you may go first.
My Weekly Delight is courtesy of tech support. So
shout out to tech support. Welcome back. He's not fired. Let's just give him a hand clap.
He lasted 4 seasons.
He lasted 4 seasons. At this point, he might actually be on a pension plan. He's got a 401k at this point.
He's tech support and Frederick.
Meanwhile, he is just texting, oblivious to what we're talking about. What is your Weekly Delight?
He sent a song. He sent it to both of us, but it's my Weekly Delight.
She stole it.
Yes. Bestie by Bad Barbie and Kodak Black.
Kodak Black.
Whatever.
Bruh.
It's music.
Go back, go back, go bestie. Can't mess with these lames cause they messy. Go back, go back, go bestie. Can't mess with these lames cause they messy. Go bestie. Them my best friend. Go bestie. Them my best friend. Go bestie. Them my best friend. Them my what? Them my best friend.
Tell us why you like it.
Cause it's all about bestie.
It is. It's pretty dope.
It is.
That's all you got?
I gave you a little bit of music. A little bit of music.
Oh my God.
Just a little bit. This is my episode.
So before we jump to books, darling, let's get into my Weekly Delight. I lost 6 pounds. Yay! Trying to keep up with Ms.Glam on her Fitbit. Yeah, I found out that I was moving a lot more than I thought.
You want to do another competition?
You never did a competition. I was in competition secretly with you. You never
right. I was
competed
doing a competition
with
my sister.
Yeah, see, that's how much you love me. I got it.
No, we're going to do a competition.
I was competing with you while you were competing with others. My goal was to burn a lot of calories each day, and I did. And I did a lot of walking. I did not do yoga. I just walked a little bit more, did some stairs. I've been fitting some jeans, and I've been looking better in some of my shirts. So yeah, that's a reason to smile. Boom. Are you ready?
Yes.
Book Roulette. Book Roulette. We're going to ask a series of questions, kind of like how we did last season with the music questions, and we'll go back and forth. I guess I'll do odd and you'll do even. We'll ask some questions and you pick books based on the questions. You feel like you can handle that? I know you can.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Folks, patience is of a virtue, just so you know. So you're carrying the show like I carried the show with music. I'm going to give
non-intelligent answers?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Like basic, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay? That's what you're getting from me.
That's the book you read?
No. Anyways. All right. So question number 1. If you were stuck on a desert island and could only take one book, which book would you pick?
So I cheated. My Kindle.
No, you can't do that. No,
yes.
You can't do that. That's not a book. You can't. Obviously, nobody would. If they're stuck on a desert island, you can only take one book. We've done this before.
I know.
And you can't
every
do that.
time I say my Kindle, I cannot. I refuse to participate. I cannot just take one book.
Like, come on, man. Like that.
I can't.
Stop the show.
I can't take one book.
I can't. That's me flipping the microphone.
That's like asking. That's like
I don't
that's like
care.
Asking someone
that's the whole point.
That's like asking someone to take just one child. They have 3 children.
Sometimes
you pick one.
Sometimes you have to. If you can't save all, you have to pick the kid. And
my whole Kindle.
It's a hard choice, but that's what happens.
No, I'm taking the whole Kindle. The whole Kindle.
I hope you leave your battery charging. I hope you leave your battery charging. You get nothing.
Mean.
Nothing. You know what? I don't even like this game already. I'm being mean. I'm being petty. That's all right.
I'm gonna build a solar panel battery for my Kindle.
With what?
I'll
with
figure
what,
it out.
With what? The palm leaves?
Yes.
Bye.
Which book are you taking?
Phenomenal Woman, Maya Angelou. Because I want to be reminded of how awesome I am, empower myself, and maybe with that strength, I can find a way off the island.
Yeah, that's what you came up with.
Listen, it's not about me today. It's about you. That's how you sounded on the musical episode, just so we're clear. So watch the energy you give today. All right, your question.
Okay. If you could trade lives with one literary character, who would you pick?
Well, because I want to be British.
Oh, good God.
I picked Mary Poppins.
I'm so mad at that.
First of all, let's go there.
Wait.
First of all,
do you even like kids like that?
First of all, I do. And she doesn't necessarily like kids. She puts them to work. She tells them spitball. You know, she just, they grow on her. She doesn't initially like them. If you really think about it, Mary Poppins just does her job. She comes in, she does her job. These children are like, but Miss Mary Poppins, we want to go to the park.
Must you do the accent?
Yes, of course. Of course. And so they wear on her, and then guess what? Then she's off in the wind.
Did you read the book or watch the movie?
First of all, I read the book and watched the movie. Boom. And I played her in a play. I actually really do love Mary Poppins. This is actually a factual thing. I really do love Mary Poppins. I think she's a magical woman. I think she's a lovely lady who knows how to teach the kids all kind of goodness.
Why do you
she brings positive messages, and she's magical. She flies off. Listen, this is the best way. Here's why I like her. She plays with the kids and then boom, leaves forever. Like she only babysits for like 1 week. Think about it.
Really?
1 week and then she's gone. They remember her forever. She's off to the next house. And she deals with rich people kids. What's the problem? She never pays rent. She's bouncing around to different cribs, you know, hooking up with different chimney cleaners. What's the problem? What's your answer? Leave me alone. I told you this is about you today. This is your episode.
You're not going to like my answer. But hear me out. Don't say anything until the end.
I'm so tired of you. You can't give one answer. I gave one musical song, and that was hard to do.
I know.
Like, I hate you right now. I just wanted to be clear. You are not my friend.
I know.
Because a friend would have took this seriously and
I did take this serious.
Answer.
Yes,
one answer.
I did this seriously.
You didn't.
But
you clearly said, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to pick 25 books. I'm going to pick 25 characters. No. I'm going to bring my Kindle, which has 800 books. I can't even narrow it down to like 3. I'm just going to narrow it down to like 800 books. This is bull, man. Throwing mics left and right.
Well, hey, I'm sorry. I wouldn't trade lives with any literary characters. But listen, because the books I read, the main characters go through such struggles to get their happily ever after. Most of my favorite characters survive such trauma to become out better for it. I have no desire to physically walk through their shoes, having walked through it in my mind. No, thank you. Wait, before you go there, let me give you an example. One of my favorite characters.
So you could just pick Hermione for 100 and just move the hell on? You couldn't just pick Hermione for 100.
No.
She ends up with a boyfriend and a husband some kids, right?
No.
And she's magical. You just couldn't pick one simple thing.
No.
I can't.
So
I'm rolling major eye at you.
Galathinianus.
I don't even know what the hell that is. Can you explain it? Can you explain that?
I am. Aelin Galathinianus.
And then enemy.
She's a character in the Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass
I'm not
series.
editing any of this out.
Really? She survived a year of hard labor in a labor camp in a salt mine where she was beaten and nearly broken, spiritually, body-wise, all of that. Then she was placed in an iron box for months and tortured. I have no desire to physically live through that and trade places with her.
Can I do a Zach Morris timeout?
Timeout!
No.
I apologize to anybody listening today. I'm going to make sure I put a bunch of sound effects to make this as cool as possible because
cool.
Ms. Glam, this was supposed to be your show and I'm about to go to sleep. Go ahead. Continue.
No,
Continue.
that's
Continue.
why I couldn't pick.
Had to put the disclaimer.
why-
Time in.
That's why I couldn't pick a character.
I can't with you.
They struggle so much. I have no desire to live through that.
Mary Poppins for
Mary
200.
Poppins is happy. I don't read happy books like that.
Then try, dear.
No, they don't. No.
Out of 800 books, they're all sad.
I mean, they have happy endings, but they go through such trauma.
Bruh. Okay.
That's the only way you can get a really good developed character.
Let's see if this next question,
All right.
because this can be multiple books because it's a series.
I know.
So should be an easy one. Don't give me like 25 different series.
sorry.
But Ms. Glam, what is your favorite book series?
This is easy. You even know this one.
I don't. I'm scared at your answers. So far, I'm like angry at your answers.
Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. It's because
Finally.
it got me back into reading.
Finally.
I found the books in college. It's a series that I can read.
They came out when we were in college too, right? They weren't out before then, right?
No, they were.
A little bit before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not much. Like maybe our senior year?
Mm,
Really? Junior year? It can't be before junior year.
I think the books came out. I know they say it starts in
Sure, yeah.
1998 or something like that. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Or maybe
continue.
not. I don't know how they
I
did
feel
the
like maybe senior, but no, that's fine. You probably know. Obviously,
I'm
you
not
probably
sure.
know
No, honestly,
way more than me.
because
Potterfile.
I saw the movie. It was sophomore year in college.
Yeah,
I saw
remember,
the first movie.
because I remember debating this in college. The book, because people were like, that was when they were thinking it was witchcraft and they were trying to ban the book. I remember that conversation.
Yeah. And so when I saw the movie in my sophomore year, 4 of the books were already published. So
Okay.
that's at least 4 years. That was my sophomore year.
Interesting. No,
that's at
continue.
least 4 years.
Okay, but tell us why you like Harry Potter. I'm sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You
No,
actually
you're fine.
are giving me a decent answer this round, so yeah, I'm engaged. I'm
Honestly,
awake.
it got me back into reading.
Okay.
It really did. It did. It got me back into reading. And
Awesome.
honestly, I want to say that's when I started reading heavily and always having a
yeah,
book.
sure, man. Okay. Oh, okay. So it was like an inspirational series as well. Safe to say.
It just reminded me why it was a stressful time, at college and
Sure.
and looking for escape.
Sure.
And it just reminded me why I loved reading back when I was a kid.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay. Well, let me finally do something that is kind of what Miss Glam does. I didn't pick a series because clearly I don't read them. But
Don't give me any more.
No. Here's why. I picked an author that I read all of his books and I loved them and they were great. The author is John Green.
I like John Green.
Yeah, exactly. I loved all his books. So I consider that a series for me because I read the first book, The Fault in Our Stars, and then it dragged me down to Paper Towns and then Looking for Alaska. So I actually read all those
and
books.
that's a TV show now.
I know, I'm excited. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited. I actually had a friend text me and say, by the way, it's a series on Hulu. You can watch now. So I'm excited. But yeah, the author itself, he's a really, as you know, he's a really good writer. And I fell in love with Fault in Our Stars. And, when I gave another book a try and then I was like, I'm going to read the other one. And there's actually one more out. So technically I haven't finished the series yet, but he's a really good author. So he was the first author that I read that made me go back to back to back. Because I actually read them back to back to back. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So that's why I called it the series. Because I really don't read series.
So it's okay for you to do the...
At least it made sense.
Mine didn't make sense?
The Kindle, I wanted to choke you out. I'm just dead ass. You do that every time. You do that every time.
I can't take one. I refuse to choose.
You know what? And that was my fault. I did it to myself. I realized it after I read the question. She was going to do that bull. But that's all right.
I refuse to participate in that nonsense.
The next question is yours, Miss Glam.
One childhood classic that you read as a child and enjoyed when you reread it as an adult.
So I'm going to pick a cliche book.
because that's all you read?
No, I read different books. Clearly, listen, I just gave you some really cool ones the last question. You're welcome.
Okay.
And you co-signed that. You co-signed that. The Great Gatsby.
That is your favorite book.
I love it. It's a lot of imagery, and I like that era, and, you know, I sometimes wish I can live in that era minus the racism, you know. But I like that book. I like Gatsby. Gatsby grew on me. No, I just wanted to go to the party. I literally just wanted to go to that party. That party sounded badass. Come on. Everybody was there. That's like going to Beyonce, Jay-Z house party. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like they would throw down like that. But anyways, Great Gatsby. I love the imagery. I love every time they come out with a movie and revamp it. It's always been one of those books. Actually, the first time I read that book, I don't know how, but my teacher
assigned it
to me, but that was like my class for the full year. Like, I literally read books on my own, different books, separate from my classmates. I was in an accelerated reader class, but it was a classroom of one.
Told you it was accelerated reader, but it was the opposite.
No, I wasn't. If so, I would have been in a box class. You know that. Come on, not reading. You don't read Great Gatsby in a box class.
I don't. Duval people will know what
I wasn't
that means.
in Duval. I wasn't in Duval.
No, I understand that, but I don't think they know what a box class is.
Really?
That's a Duval term.
Really?
That's a Duval term. Tech support.
You don't think people outside of Jacksonville knows that term?
I don't know. Did you know it in?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a Duval
But just
term.
to be clear, I cleared it up. For those who don't know,
in the British accent,
a box class is a class where you're not bright, love. They sit you in there and you read slow books all day. All day. You go to lunch with the same crew. You go to math class with the same crew because you're on that same slow level.
And they put you in
a box class.
Yes. And it's called a box class because you're literally in a box.
In a box.
All day.
All day. The more you know.
The more you know.
Anyways, so no, it was just, you know, I have had classes where, you know, I got to do things different from other children because I was a wonderful child in Virginia.
So.
I was on a roll. I was smarty-arty and, you know.
Then life happened.
And then I met tech support.
You gonna blame it on him?
Tech support thought he was a bad boy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I skipped a couple times and, you know, it is what it is.
This is what happened when you skip school.
We're here.
It's my turn.
Your turn.
So, the book I chose.
Okay.
And you've read this book.
Have I?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Everyone's read this book.
Okay.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
So, I read this book in the 4th grade.
Sure,
and it stuck with me because my teacher, shout out to Miss Payne, had a classroom library.
Mm-hmm.
I stole the book.
Sure.
I borrowed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept it because I love this book so much. And I kept it. And then midway through 5th grade, I returned it or tried to return it.
You tried to return to the scene of the crime? And...
No, I gave it to her. I told her. I went straight up to her and said, I'm returning your book. I didn't mean to keep it this long, but it was so good. And I kept rereading it and I didn't want to let it go.
And what did she say?
Keep it.
Oh,
it makes you so happy. Keep it.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yes,
okay.
It was.
That was actually sweet. I can't even comment on that. That was sweet.
So she let me keep it, and I still have it.
Aw.
I do.
She should have signed it.
Why?
Because then you'd remember her always.
I remember
her handwriting.
I remember that day very vividly.
I see. You smiled and lit up. That's what's up.
She gave me the book.
Okay.
I was very happy.
Awesome. So, my turn. Which book gave you the best advice about life and gave you the most insight into developing of your character?
Development.
Yep, that.
Okay, another disclaimer. I did pick a book.
Bruh.
I did. I picked 2. Now, one I like way better than the other.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Are you going to do this all episode?
No, not all. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first one, and actually I think you should read both of these books. So the first one is The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. Now, disclaimer, like trigger warnings, don't read this book because if you're, trigger warnings for violence, rape culture, and sexual assault, like it's a brutal book. It is brutal, full of violence, but it's so good. If you can handle that, read the book. It is a revenge thriller, but it's so much more. But it's full of, I think you would like it. It's full of feminine rage. Oh, it's so good. You have to read it.
Y'all, I hope y'all are laughing at. Keep going.
Really? But it's so raw.
I can't with you.
You have to read it.
If you could see you would laugh at you. You're so cute and animated right now. It's ridiculous.
You can't read this book and not look inwardly after. But it's so good. Okay. It's brutal.
All the color girls who?
It's brutal.
Okay.
But it's good. It works. So it's brutal, but there are some moments where even the brutality is funny. I don't know. It works. It's good. You should read it. And the other one was On the Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right.
Probably not. I hope she calls in or comments below and just says, we got Australian listeners. I think we had like 2 or 3 Australian listeners.
We don't have anybody in Australia.
Boo. Well, make that happen, Aussies.
So it's an emotional story about a 17-year-old girl who, the journey about her finding out about her parents and her past and her parents and her life. So her mother abandoned her at a 7-Eleven when she was 11, and she's been living in a boarding school ever since.
Yep.
And then she's going through a difficult time, and then her mentor, her guardian, who basically is like her surrogate mother, disappears on her. So it's a really emotional story. It's very sad.
And what did you learn about yourself?
It's just, you kind of seeing people go through that struggle. Well, not seeing, I guess, in the minds of people going through those struggles.
Somebody left you at 7-Eleven?
No.
Okay, just checking. I'm just seeing how close to relating to this book are you. Go ahead.
It's more about that internal struggle of looking at yourself. Like this book, she goes through a lot of betrayal. So just seeing and analyzing, would you handle it that way? How would you feel? Being in her head, it was insightful. I'm a vindictive person. It just proved it. It really did. All right, your turn. I picked 2. I only picked 2. I narrowed it. 886 books down to 2.
I picked 1, and I picked it because it's an inside joke, and it's pretty funny when you hear the title, and I'll explain why. It didn't have to do with the book, but it kind of had to do with the book, but it didn't have to do with the book. The Colored Museum by George C. Wolfe.
Really?
She's laughing because we had the same AP English class. We had to do this assignment on reading this book, which should be an automatic A for every black child in that classroom. And yet
I think I got a B.
We didn't get A's.
He didn't give A's.
No, we should have got A's.
He never gave A's.
So what it was is we had to read this book, and pretty much it was about breaking down some black stereotypes and, just what it meant to be black. And it was actually a really good read. I loved the book. Yeah. And so I encourage you to pick it up. But anyways, really good read. Enjoyed it, and I actually really took pride in the assignment. I think that's what burnt me the most. And I got a B-, and I was mad. I was like, how is this?
Because he didn't give A's.
Professor, because he thought he was a professor. You're a teacher.
He was a good teacher.
He was a really good teacher. I'm not going to lie.
I think I got 1 A in his class.
But nonetheless, I worked really hard on it, and I really delved into that book to get a B-. And I'm like, how you going to tell me about my culture?
What about your culture? It's about your writing skills, boo.
No. I have excellent writing skills, especially back then. But probably not so much now with social media, just like messing up my vocabulary. But I was really proud of it. And so, one, you got to learn a lot about Black culture and breaking down stereotypes in the book. So that's one. But then I also learned about myself. And, when you believe in something, you stand up. And I remember debating him.
You talked to him about it.
Yeah, I was very upset. I don't know if everybody else did, but that was a conversation we had.
Happy with my B.
We agreed to disagree. I think I ended up getting a B+. He never gave me an A, but I know I got my grade bumped up, but it wasn't to the satisfactory level that I wanted. But that was the first time that I ever felt like I am going to stand up for what's right. And in my mind, I'm standing up for what I thought was for the culture. And he was like, I don't really care. I don't give A's in this class. It's nothing personal. But anyways, so yeah, that was why I do
recall when
But I really like the read. It's a really good read, nonetheless.
I recall when he did give A's, like, he called you out and said you have an A because he gave them out that rarely.
Yeah, I deserved an A.
I think I got one.
I didn't care about the rest of the books, meaning like I read them, I didn't care. I felt the grades were justified, but that one I will to this day I deserved an A. But keep going. Your question.
What is a book that you've read that had the most surprising twist or ending?
Gone Girl.
Don't tell me the ending. I haven't
I'm
read that
never
one
going to
yet.
tell you the ending, but what I tell you is, you know how you say you go through books and you can read them in one day?
Yeah.
That was literally me. That literally was me. And what made it worse is I was babysitting my niece. So I, had already started reading it, and then she kind of came over, but she came over like in the evening, like pretty much it was time to eat, get her dressed, maybe do a couple, like 2 TV shows, 30-minute shows, and then put her to bed. And then I read that book, and I read that book, and I read that book, and the sun came up, and that child was up, and I hated my life. The book was great, but I hated my life, and tech support was nowhere in the building to be found. And I was just like, baby, do you want cereal? Baby, don't you want to watch this show? And I'm just like laying up against her on the couch so I can know where she's at. And she was nice. She gave me like 1 30-minute show to sleep through. But after that, I was like, what do you want to do? Auntie Mohazel, what do you want to do? Oh.
And I recall you being excited about it.
I was. That book, I was like, and what happened?
You,
and what? And no, he didn't. And no, she didn't. And what? I mean, I was talking to the book.
You called me, and I bought it. I just haven't read it.
I'm going to tell you.
I own it. I just haven't read it.
It'll get your life.
Don't you spoil
I'm not going to say anything, but I'll just say the ending. But the main part of the book is so worth the roller coaster ride.
Okay, don't you dare.
Anyways, Gone Girl, that was mine. What is yours?
I did a series because it was building. So I did the Ryera Revelation series by Michael Sullivan.
So we did a series, so that means you picked more than one book for this question. Just to be clear.
It's a series. It's all building
I
in
could
one
have swore I said series in question 3, but here we are. With picking multiple books again.
I didn't pick
Go ahead, Miss Glam. It's your show today. Do you, darling, do you. I'm so done with you.
Listen, the world building. You need more than one book. You can't build a world of this quality in one book.
I did not want to pick songs. They were like picking my children, and yet I did it. I did the task because I follow instructions. Clearly you don't, and it shows you don't respect me. But keep going.
Respect you.
I asked
but
you.
I
I came up with these questions with pride for you,
and I love them.
And you just pooped.
No.
Over my question.
No, I didn't. You don't understand.
It's okay. Give me the book. Give me the book series.
I did. Ryera Revelations by Michael Sullivan.
Why? Why did you pick the series? I mean, just tell us a little bit more.
So the world building in this series, like, it just builds upon like how he starts the book and where these characters go at the very end. I did not see it coming. However, when I look back and reread the series, because I've read it a couple times, it's all laid out. Like the way he starts and gives little bit of foundation and just rolls it all together. The characters, the story, all of it. Okay. It's just awesome.
Is this a fantasy book?
Yes.
Like space fantasy or fairy fantasy?
It has it has fae in it. It has fae in it.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's very little magic in there. But there is some magic in there. But it's a fantasy world, but most of the people are human.
I mean, does that make it better that you gave a series versus the book?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's a good book.
Anyways.
Or good series. I could have put all his books together. I only picked one of his series.
Oh, we're moving on. Question 7. Favorite genre of book. Hey, Miss Glam, you can pick multiple books on this one.
I picked multiple.
So gonna stab you after the show. What's the genre of books? You better have picked one genre.
Let me get.
Bruh.
Go ahead. So go ahead and do yours. Go ahead and do yours, and then I'll do mine. I need time. Let me.
You're gonna pick one. No, you know what? No.
Technically, they're all the same.
You're gonna look at your page and you're gonna pick one.
Two.
One.
Two.
One. Uno.
I don't understand.
Uno.
I don't comprehend.
One.
I don't comprehend.
One. You're going to pick one. And so I'll show
What
you
is this?
what, and let me give you an example. So I pick autobiographies. That's no, obviously, I'm going to pick that. But here's why I like autobiographies. I like really hearing about true stories, especially people I admire. I want to know what roads they went down to get to who they are. I want to know where their mind was in certain iconic situations. I want to get inspired. And a lot of times when I read these books, I like to read a lot of different people, whether they're authors, they're actors, they're political figures, just artists, whatever. I like to read different people's lives because I like to find the commonality that I have among them. And it inspires me to, go forward. Plus, I like to know what people did wrong, too. You know what I mean? Sometimes people made choices and they were the wrong choices. And I want to avoid doing the wrong choices because sometimes it sounds good, literally sounds good on paper. And then you get to the next page and it don't sound good on paper. And that's what these people did. They rolled the dice and life didn't work. I want to know why people died young. I want to know why, people lived a long time. I want to know what made this person choose to write a song a certain way. I get geeked out over all of that. Yeah. You see how that worked?
No.
That gave a
boring.
Clear answer,
but
and I answered it.
I applaud you for reading.
I'm
No. Okay, so technically,
I said one, Ms.Glam.
But technically, they all are.
You begging cutely is not going to negate that I only want one. And trust me, you can sit there and say, I'm going to give two. I'm editing one of them out. So pick your poison, I'm going to pick it for you.
Listen, so fantasy.
Fantasy, got it, go.
But that includes like paranormal, it includes all of that. You don't understand, like the way they break it down. I can't just say fantasy because fantasy may only mean this. You're being difficult.
I'm just gonna beat
It's
up the
important.
mic.
These distinctions are important. They are. As you know, I read to escape. So, in order for me to truly escape and get out of my own head, I need a world that my brain can only focus on making this world come alive in my head. That's why I read the books that I read. Is that better?
And yet, you said my answer was boring?
My answer isn't boring.
Baby girl, I fell asleep over here. What happened?
No, my world building books are awesome.
Your question.
Yes. Best book to movie you ever read and later watched.
So the book I picked was a really good read. And yet you led me to this book and yet you never read it. The Hate You Give.
I read that book.
How did you like it?
I like the book.
I love that book.
I did read that book. My niece is reading it now.
Oh, yay. Okay. So, by Angie Thomas. I love that book.
Tell me I never read the book.
Well, because I know you didn't. You had the book in your possession. I bought the book. I finished the book, and you still hadn't read it at that point. And then the movie came out, and I watched the movie, and you still hadn't read it at that point. So I was just like, all right, she ain't gonna read the book. I just give up on you. Because I got excited, because I was like, oh, I'll read it too. Because you wanted to read it first to see if your niece would like it. I said, oh, I'll read it too. So we got something to read together. You hooked me in. Then you never read it. And I'm like, well, all right, there went that book club.
I did read it. It just was other things were in the queue before I could read it.
So I liked The Hate You Give. It was pretty much about a young lady who had to deal with code switching. That's one. But then the main thing is she actually saw her best friend get murdered by police. And she, had to use her voice to get heard. And in the meantime, dealing with going to an all Caucasian school and feeling like she has to fit in. And, and then when she goes back to her neighborhood, it's just all, Black people. So she was constantly in this world of feeling like I'm in, almost kind of like Fresh Prince, which was referenced in the book. Kind of like Will Smith. You go to West Philly at night and you're in Bel Air during the day. So I loved the book, and the movie was great. The young lady who played her was phenomenal. The cast was phenomenal. I really, 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 really loved the book, and I think what I loved about it is it was a lot. I didn't identify. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I'm a fan. I'm actually I'm reading the book that I'm reading now, but I actually follow her on Instagram, Angie Thomas, and so some of her books I will be reading because one's about music and I love the cover and I'm like so excited. And even with this one, she referenced so much music, and so in the movie there was so much movie being referenced, even down to the title, which was The Hate You Give, and it was THUG, which was Thug, which was like Thug Life, which is in relation to Tupac, which is I
do remember that from the book. It did say that.
So it's all kind of levels of awesomeness, and so current with the times, and what's being said in there is so relevant to today. So young children and teens of all ages pick up the book, and adults pick up the book too. I think you'll get some really gems out of it. Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I can relate on more levels than I can imagine. I wasn't totally in her shoes, but yeah, I could wear a few of her sneakers for sure. Yeah. So that's the book I picked. You see, I picked one. Let's see if you picked one.
I picked a series. Don't get upset. You can't just pick one book.
Just answer the question, Ms. Glam. I'm so
Harry Potter. I picked a person. Harry Potter. How about that?
Not only picked the same
Yeah,
book.
I know. But here's the thing. Here's why I picked Harry
Potter. I figured
Potter.
you'd at least do Twilight just to switch it up. But
no, because Twilight didn't do... It wasn't... Like, I watched the movie because the books were so good. But honestly, the level of the detail that went into Harry Potter, you can't. They did a very good job. J.K. Rowling did not let them screw up her series. Awesome. It brought it to life. Like, they cut out stuff, but it brought it to life. The things they left in it.
Okay, that's what's up. I'll allow it.
Thank you.
I have to allow it from here on out in order to keep my sanity. I'm not gonna let my blood pressure go up with you today. Okay. All right. Question number 9.
Yes.
The book you read that you wish you hadn't because it was so bad.
Okay. So remember that statement you just said?
Yep.
That you're not going to let your blood pressure go up and that you're going to allow it? I need you to allow it.
Because you picked like 25 books. Go ahead.
No. Okay. So I know it said...
When you start with, okay.
I know you said... What? I know the question said because it was
I'm
so
sorry,
bad.
folks. I have to box this microphone from keeping the boxer.
I know the question said because it was so bad.
Why you couldn't give me this disclaimer before we started the show?
Because then you wouldn't let me have talked about it on the show.
We would have. I would have been like, let's talk about something else.
No. Okay, so the book I chose is, actually it's a series, was Wolves of Mercy Fall Series by Maggie
So you
Shriver.
read the whole series before you realized it was bad read?
No. Listen.
I just need to understand. Yes or no? Don't give me no, it depends. Just yes or no. Did you read the whole series?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
So I love the first book and the second book. The first and second book of that series, like I was in love. I was waiting for the third book to come out. And then it was a lot of bad reviews by some of the book, reviewers the book bloggers that I follow. And I own the book, but I've never finished the series. So I have characters floating around in my head wanting to know how their story ends. But I can't bring myself to read the third book.
Because I'm
scared it's going to be bad.
Listening to other people.
Yes, because listen.
So let me get this straight. You won't listen to your bestie, but you'll listen to other people, strangers, mind you, behind a computer screen that possibly live in their mom's basement.
Listen.
Is that accurate? This is a yes or no. This is a yes or no.
If I
so a no answer means yes.
You're not listening to me.
Is this a yes or no question?
If I read the third book and it's horrible, do you know what that's going to do to the first two books?
Then those people were right.
No, it just means the characters who I've grown to love and I like their story can't end that way. I'd rather their story...
Why don't you write fan fiction about it?
No. It's not the same. Once the author ruins the characters, it's over. So
why not DM the author and ask questions?
Okay. So I'm right now refusing to read the third book until I can bring myself to be
Are you
ready
ever going to
for-
read the third book?
I don't know. It's debatable. It's debatable. Not sure.
You really take this really serious.
These characters are my friends.
I'm glad they are, because you're about to lose one. After
You're
today's
stuck with
episode, I'm
me
done.
for life.
Okay, so I don't know the name of the book, but the book Ms. Glam picked the one time we were in a book club and we both quit the book together, that shit. Whatever that book was called was the worst pick ever. I've always powered through and finished a book. I've never not finished a book. And then I actually, and here's what I do. Because I'm not as much of a reader as you, I actually have a few friends out there in the universe, including you, that I ask for books. So that way I don't pick stupid books and waste my time. And here I am. I'm like, Ms. Glam, she reads 1,000,000 books. She's not going to steer us wrong. You pick that book.
I didn't read it.
And then you don't even read it, and you have me suffer through it.
I read it when you were reading it, but I hadn't read it before.
I suffered through way too many chapters that I needed to, and you quit like after chapter 1.
No, I read maybe halfway through.
I read damn near the end and shut it down, like, because I was that committed to it.
So here's why. So we started a book club. I think the first book was
Me, and we liked it.
No, the first book was
Me, and we liked it.
What was it? It was He's Just Not Into You.
Yeah.
We read that one because it came out on
My
a movie.
pick. Yes.
And then I was trying to find a book that would speak to you because you didn't want to do anything fantasy.
Don't do me no favors.
And I hadn't read it. I just looked and I went, this sounds like it's up her alley. And it was a horrible book. I don't even remember the title. I have it, but I don't remember the title.
Uh-huh. I don't remember the title
either.
A
horrible book.
Horrible book.
Horrible book.
That shit. That's horrible. What I'm gonna call it. That shit.
It was a horrible book.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not even gonna do that.
Is that
author
what you were
title.
thinking of when you wrote this question?
Yes. I did it just to go down a rabbit hole. Yes, I did. I was hoping you would too, but you went in a total different direction. But that shit, yeah.
I forgot about. I purged that from my
memory. I
will
never forget because that's the one and only time that I didn't finish a book.
You know what? I did do my one.
Actually, I'm lying. There was one other book, and I can't think of the name.
My one did not finish was. It was actually an ARC that I received. And honestly, I need to revisit it. Maybe it was because like sometimes I'll read a book or start a book, but it's not I'm not feeling that energy right then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to pause it and then come back to it. And sometimes when I come back to it at different places in my life, it's a really good read and I can get into it. So one that's sitting on my did not read, can't finish book is, I think it's called Vixen.
Mm-hmm. I love how you're easing another book into this question.
I just can't get into it. I mean, it's not so much bad. I just wasn't speaking to me.
You notice I don't even let you recommend books no more. That Hate You Give was purely by accident.
The Hate You Give was fire.
Oh, no, it was. But I stopped asking you on book titles a long time ago because of that other book.
The Female of the Species.
I'll think about it. Hey, Ms. Glam.
Yes.
Your question.
What's the last question?
It's the last question. Hallelujah.
You're not going to like my answer to this one either.
Really? Because it's...
All right. So if you could start your own book club, where would you hold your first book club gathering? And what author would you celebrate? You can also include celebrity guests if you would invite them to join your club.
I said guest, not guests. But keep going. You want me to start off to show you how it's supposed to be answered?
Sure.
So sure, I'm going to do a book club. And where am I going to do it? In one of my favorite cities in the U.S., New Orleans, right? And I'm going to pick one of these rustic buildings with jazz music. And I want flowers everywhere. And I want it to be high tea, but I want it to be like high tea with cool ass jazz music. And I want to celebrate an author that... Honestly, I read the book, but the movie obviously is something that I can watch forever and a day over and over again. And I think she's an author that should be celebrated while she's alive. Alice Walker. Alice Walker. I love The Color Purple. Like, come on. That's like hands down, I can quote that from top to bottom, but I enjoyed the book too, and the book was a lot more in depth, and it's a really beautiful piece. And so I would celebrate her. That would be the author. I'm not necessarily celebrating Color Purple. I'm just saying that's the reason why I want to bring her, because Color Purple was such an iconic book. The celebrity guest I would bring is Tyra Banks.
Why?
I'm actually reading her book now in the midst of reading the other books. I'm reading back and forth 2 books. See what I did there, Miss Glam? I'm actually reading 2 books at the same time.
Then that means the book isn't
No, actually,
getting your attention.
no. I actually kind of like almost, I've been doing that as of late. I kind of like juggling different things. I don't know why. I just like juggling.
can't.
It's for my mental. I like juggling. It almost kind of reminds me of like going to high school when you have to read math, prepare for math and do English and do this over here. I kind of like the juggling,
but not a fantasy book with all the different characters.
Sure.
And
sure.
I get into the world.
Yeah, but I like Tyra Banks on so many different levels. I feel like she would be fun. She's just, a very high energy, positive, influential person, and smarter than we think, but yet goofy and silly, and yet she's a phenomenal woman, and I think she could bring some insight to my group. I really like her, and I would like chatting it up with her. I would have a million questions about branding and all the things that she's gone through, and even as I'm reading her book, seeing how she had to pick different things, like, without giving it away, like she became a model at age 18, right at 18. At the same time, she had literally put in to go to all these different schools and got accepted into like some of her favorite schools. And now she has to choose going to Paris to model and going to college. And yet here she is picking this, and her life got forever changed. Like she picks the best. Like if it's A or B, whatever she picks, she's winning. And that's what I want to do. So I'm all invested in her story, and she would be a phenomenal guest to come to my Nolans book gathering. Had to think of the word.
All right.
You see how that worked? One,
right.
2, 3.
So
go.
Sit, breathe. Let's breathe. Inhale.
She got us in outer space playing with some phase and some damn Harry Potter
I didn't.
Quidditch.
No.
Go ahead.
Listen, I think you'll like this. So my book club is actually a traveling book club. We would go to all of
Pick your first stop, Miss Glam.
We would go to the libraries around the world.
Which is your first library, Miss Glam?
I haven't decided. So
No. Where's your first stop, Miss Glam?
You know what? I probably would stop in the New York Library.
New York Library. We're going with that. Keep going. I'm going to make you pick.
But we'll go to the different...
Okay, blah, blah, blah. Keep going. New York Library. You're sitting there. Who's your author?
No, you're not listening. I'm not done. So each book that we're discussing, you would have to, when you come to the book club, dress as your favorite. I didn't ask you.
No,
you would have to dress. Listen. You would have
You're
to
not
dress
listening
as
to the
your
question.
favorite character.
You're not listening to the question. I'm about to really duke you out on air.
Listen.
I said you have a book club.
Dream.
Obviously, you're going to have multiple sessions.
Yes.
I said, let's talk about the first session,
so
the first author, and the first guest to come.
The first session
is in New York Library.
And you would have to dress as your favorite character of the book.
Okay. I'm with you.
All right. So I'm not just bringing one author. I'm bringing all of my favorite indie authors.
What? You're going to go to multiple stops. They can each go to different stops. That's the whole point of a book gathering.
I couldn't pick.
You can't do that. You can't. How does it sound? How does it sound, Miss Glam? Hey, I'm going to start a book club. Okay, what's the first book we're going to read? We're going to read 12 at the same time because I don't want to pick because I'm indecisive. It depends. It depends.
So here's how this would work.
We have would read one 12. Author you're celebrating.
So look,
the question said one.
Okay, you have one.
Tech support. Can you look up the Webster's version of one?
Multiple. So
it's not multiple.
You listen. You're not listening to my.
You're
book
not
club.
listening to the question. So that's why I'm tuning you out.
You have 12 books.
I don't even want to go to your book
at
club.
This book club,
I'm
and there's
out.
round tables. So you're meeting at different tables to discuss these different books. and you get to, just dive in with someone who is just as interested in books as you are. See, you're a hater. I would invite my favorite indie authors because I do follow them and talk with them on social media, and it's like they really are my friends. I do. I wish them happy birthday and everything. It's really nice, and they respond. So, and I wouldn't invite a celebrity. I would invite author celebrities, like other like.
You couldn't just name one author celebrity. You just invited 25 indie authors, and you can't bring one guest. One guest.
No.
Go ahead, Miss Glam.
I would invite. Let's see. I limited it to like 6. The author of Children of Blood and Bone. I'm gonna butcher her name, so I apologize.
That's why she ain't coming. So we're down to 5.
Tommy, Edime. J.K. Rowling, of course. Harry Potter. She has to come.
That's all you had to say. We're moving on.
Maria Snyder study series. Sarah Moss Throne of Glass series. Patricia Briggs Mary Thompson series. Julie Kagwa, the Iron Face series. Like, I got it limited.
The way you just talked, it sound like you're giving a speech at the Oscars. I want to thank the following people.
I mean,
okay, I'm over it. Hey,
they've got me through some very tough times, stressful times.
Yeah.
Because their worlds are so great. And honestly, these series were just the first series that I fell in love with their writing style. They have more series. And like, it was hard limited to these folks. You don't understand.
So thank you guys for tuning in. There are 2 other episodes that dropped, so hopefully you like those episodes.
Whatever. This is episode of the bomb.
Oh, jeez.
Don't be knocking my book.
No, I just wanted you to have one answer. You failed half the questions, but it's all good. Today's about you.
You can't pick your favorite child.
Yeah, you can.
No,
and people do all the time. They just say, don't tell your sister and brother. That's it. That's what they do.
They're lying.
I'm dead serious.
They're lying.
I'm okay. Are you your parents' favorite?
No.
Okay. Thank you. So they have a favorite.
They do.
Moving on. We're moving on.
But they don't tell them that.
Hey, let me ask a question, Miss Glam. For Petty Word of the Day, did you pick six definitions?
So I did pick one word, but based on this episode, I'm changing my sentence.
I don't care. Just, is it one sentence? Yes, it's one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving on. Petty Word of the Day. I'm throwing the paper. Matter of fact, I want the
Why
viewers
are you so frustrated?
You
Why?
hear that? I'm ripping the paper.
Really?
That is not me adding sound effects. That is
me
me literally ripping the paper because
great?
she pooped on my questions. I literally had to, I'm going in for 2 seconds.
Really?
I literally had to pick my songs like children when we did last season's episode to be authentic and pick one song per choice. You know how many songs I could have picked for some of those questions? Like a lot. And yet I did the task. And yet you failed me. You failed me. We're moving on. I don't even want to hear your rebuttal. You said enough today. Petty word of the day.
Here's the thing.
Petty word of the day.
How you choose
Petty
to
word
look
of the
at
day.
it. Because
Petty
you
word
could
of the
look
day.
at it
Petty
as
word
you
of the
did
day.
such a great job with your questions.
Don't kiss my booty. Don't kiss my booty.
Such a good job with the questions that I couldn't just pick one
Petty
book.
word of the day.
I'm so inspired.
I'm not even drinking this Kool-Aid
so
that you just
inspired.
made. There's not enough sugar in it for me to taste
so
it.
happy you chose
There's not enough sugar
this
for me to
topic
taste this.
for
Okay?
me.
We're moving on. Petty word of the day is where we take a pretty word. We're moving on. Okay? Don't even give me that look. Where we take a word out the dictionary, we learn it, and then we put it in pretty petty sentences so you can learn the words too. And Miss Glam better have one, or the next sound won't be me boxing the microphone. It'll be boxing her. With that being said, you go first.
Do you want to hear my original sentence?
I want to hear your one word and your one sentence.
Okay, then I'll give you my new sentence.
Thank you.
And my old sentence. So word I chose, it is an adjective.
Tech support, get your friend.
It's called
Or are you going to be accessory?
knackered. And it's a British word.
Knackered.
It's a British word.
That's how you say it in England. Knackered.
Really? You don't know that. You're just guessing.
Google it.
It's
Time out.
knackered.
Ask my Surrey to say it.
Really? And it means tired, exhausted.
You girl, this better be about me because that's how I'm feeling. That is so how I'm feeling.
I changed the sentence to be Mohazel is knackered with today's or by today's episode.
That's putting it nicely.
It was a
this
petty
is like
sentence.
The worst episode.
If
we ever have that episode where we go down a rabbit hole of talking about, like, let's just go down the history of episodes and reminisce.
My favorite.
This is going to be my most hated episode.
My sentence was, Mohazel is looking fabulous today, but kind of knackered. That was my sentence. But.
So you still did too?
Yes.
My word is flawsome. It's an adjective. An individual who embraces their flaws and knows they are awesome. This is about me, Ms. Glam. My sentence. Ms. Glam always tries to correct me on all my flaws, but I have no problem embracing who I am because I am flawsome.
But didn't you spend all
We're
episode
moving on.
talking about me? So
We're
I
moving
think
on.
I am flawsome.
No. I'm not changing my sentence. It's going to be about me because my spirit is broken and I need something to lift me up. Because I thought my weekly delight was going to get me through the week, but I don't know if I'm going to make it till Wednesday. I'm feeling sad. So, this is the show.
No, show's not over. We're going to talk about more books.
No, we're done.
I have more examples.
We're done. Ms. Glam, you have nothing left to say.
I have a lot left to say.
No, we're moving on. Do you have anything left to say?
Yes.
Okay, after the show ends.
No, more about books.
And we are out.
Until next time.
I can't stand you. Oh, cut the tape, tech support.